Hello YouTubers and welcome to an interview, I guess. Quite a different interview because the person interviewing me is not on here but on my phone in the form of questions. So today it's a fantastic summer day. I had to sit outside for this interview. I have my smoker going, smoking some pulled pork. Been smoking for about 5.5 hours now. It's smelling great. But this is an interview with Grimm Gent. It's a metal website, and as you guys know, I'm a metalhead. And yeah, they contacted me and said they'd like to do some kind of feature collab thing. And we talked a bit and said, hey, how about I do a video so you guys also can hear these questions and share it on my YouTube, and it will also be posted on their site. So their site is called Grimm Gent, and they do all kinds of features on metal. All things metal, concerts and everything. I think a few of you guys are metalheads, so it's something for you to check out for sure. Yeah, they also do this segment, which is what this will be a part of, called Pick Your Poison, which is about metal and spirits and drinks and beer and whatnot. So things where metal people are influenced somehow in this. And they wanted to do one of these segments with me because, you know, I'm a beer geek and a metalhead. So, and in true metal style, I'm wearing one of my awesome band shirts, and we're gonna crack a beer. And what do metalheads usually drink? Well, they drink lagers. So we got a Helles lager from Bamberg in Germany that I brought. Or actually, maybe this is not from Bamberg, but it's from southern Germany. Brought it home from a Bamberg trip, or I actually got it for free from a sales rep. And you gotta drink it out of 1 liter mug, especially when it says Wacken on it, even though it's plastic. But I forgot my bottle opener, so it's pretty lucky that I'm wearing flip-flops with a bottle opener in it. Guinness flip-flops. So let's get this beer cracked and get into these questions. As you guys know, I've been a metalhead for quite a while. I've listened to metal pretty much all my life. Well, not really in the beginning, but since I was like a teenager. So let's get this beer poured here, guys. Some lager. I mean, if you go to a festival, if you go to a concert nowadays, most of the places have more than just lager. But this is just, yeah, you know, how you do it. At places like Wacken, you drink beer like this, lager, in this case a Helles. So cheers. Oh, this looks so sad because it's a 1 liter mug, but oh well. Cheers, guys, and cheers to Grimm Gent, and let's get into the questions. That's refreshing. They're so lightly hoppy and grassy, this one. But yeah, so they sent me these questions here I have on my phone, and they're pretty interesting questions. So the first question from Grimm Gent is, what came first, your love for beer or your love for metal music, and how did it evolve? My love for metal music came first. As I said earlier, when I was in high school, I got into metal. It was through a friend of mine, kind of. We kind of evolved into it together. I think it was because our fathers listened to some more rockish stuff and hard rock. So we started listening to like Aerosmith and AC/DC and Van Halen and Guns N' Roses and these kind of things. And I don't know why, but somewhere along the line, we just started craving stuff that was heavier. And I think then the first like heavier type music I discovered was Iron Maiden, and I loved it. My friend wasn't as big a fan as me. He stuck to the other stuff for a bit longer, but then I got into that, and then through another friend of ours who was a metalhead, we met. I think it was my friend. You've seen my friend, Lasse. He's a childhood friend of mine. We've known each other for, what, since we were 3 years old. So we grew up together and listened to metal. So we would often go to parties and these things, and we listened to this kind of stuff. But then one of these parties, one of his friends, that was like when I was starting in high school, I guess. Before high school, we listened to that AC/DC stuff, but in the start of high school, we did a lot of partying. And in his basement, or in my parents' basement, or in his parents' basement. In my parents' basement, we had a bar called Rottehullet, the Rat Hole, where we would drink and party and listen to rock music / metal. And in my friend Les's, we had Smørhullet, which was the butter hole. Kind of lame. But a good friend of ours called Emil came by some of these parties, and he started introducing us to melodic death metal. I was never too into metal, or just death metal back then. I were into some kind of thrash bands, like, you know, the more mainstream stuff like Metallica and Megadeth and whatnot. But then we discovered the first melodic band, and that was In Flames. And I was just hooked. I loved it. And then we also, through him, discovered bands like Children of Bodom and Soilwork and whatnot. So that's how that kind of evolved. And then with most metal people, you kind of grow into more and heavier and heavier and heavier stuff. So yeah, that's how that evolved. And then on the side, the whole beer thing. You know that story from watching if you watch the FABQ, which was just me trying different stuff. But because that was all about the same time, metal came first, but along the line, beer crept in as well. So yeah, great questions. So the next one here it says, in another interview, you said that you can get really geeky about stuff you like. I think it's quite clear how geeky you can get with beer if you take a look at the Master of Hoppets YouTube page. But explain to us your geeky side and your love for metal. So I won't say metal is the same geeky side of me as with beer, because beer can get technical, and I can get technical with that. I don't get technical with metal. Like into, you know, what guitar riffs should sound like, and what the drum pacing should be, and all these things, and the melodies, all that. I don't get into that at all. I'm more like, you know, if it sounds good and I like it, I'll listen to it. But the geeky side of that, the metal, is more that thing where if there's something I truly enjoy music-wise, I will listen to every single fucking album through the whole discography and find my favorites, and then, you know, I'll just sometimes listen to it a bit too much, so I need a break. I had that happen with a lot of my favorite bands over the years, where I just listened to them so much that I needed to take breaks from them just because I got kind of sick of it. But yeah, that's how it goes. Then it's great that there are so many great metal bands out there. So it says, you clearly state you love metal, but you stay quite on the surface about what you like specifically. What are your favorite bands and genres? So that's true. I mean, I never did a metal video. Whenever you see me, you probably know from watching my reviews that I'm a metalhead, because I flash band shirts and I review metal-themed beers and say I love them and whatnot. Sometimes talk about I love the bands. But music-wise, it varies a lot. Like genre-wise, what I'm into in periods and seasons even. Like in the winter, I can get really into black metal, more than modern and more melodic stuff, Norwegian black metal, like Abath and Immortal, and what are the bands black metal do I listen to? Mayhem. And there's some more. There's Dark Funeral. I can't remember all the names. That's the thing. But when you do videos like this, all of that stuff you often forget. But I'm not the, you know, super black metal geek, but like that's something I'd listen to in the winter. But I'd say probably the favorite style of metal for me is probably melodic death metal. If I have to just pick one, even though, as I said in other, you know, videos and whatnot, it's really hard for me to pick just one. But if we say it like this, the genre I listen to the most is melodic death metal. I don't know if it's because of what the metal I got into first. I just love the sound. I love the melodies paired with often clean vocals as well, and then the growls or screams. So that's one of the genres I love. And bands in that genre I really love: In Flames, Soilwork, Insomnium, Degraded are pretty good too. What the hell is it called? There's another. It's a side project from Björn from Soilwork he did with some Italian guys. It's called something with D as well, I think. The name escapes me. I can put it in a blurb when I remember it. But yeah, Amon Amarth is technically melodic death metal, even though it's more Viking themed. I mean, I wouldn't call that Viking or folk metal at all. But yeah, that's a big favorite of mine. I'm going to go see them this year again at Wacken, which will be great. But the fucking big problem is that they are playing the same time as Soilwork, and both are two of my favorite bands. What the fuck, Wacken? Come on. But yeah, so I say melodic death metal, but I really also enjoy folk metal, like Fintroll. Oh, another melodic death metal band I definitely need to mention that you guys need to check out as well is Mercenary. It's a local band from Denmark. They had a kind of a period with some good success around Europe, but it just died down. But they're still just killing it musically. I think it's a great band that just doesn't get enough attention. And also shout out to one of my friends, Niklas, and I'm forgetting everything now. Jimmy, who both played in a local melodic death metal band too called Anemia. Jimmy still plays in it. He does the vocals. Check him out; they're pretty good too. I'm just giving shout out to bands now. But yeah, so folk metal. I said I like Fintroll. What else? Ailstorm. Just, you know, fun party metal. I like that too because I'm a dude who likes to party. What else? Folky stuff. Korpi Klani. That's just the thing. Remembering everything. Tura is really good. That's just not so party metal like. That's just the thing with remembering things on the top of your mind. And then I've like lately I've listened to a lot of thrash metal. There's a really good band called Evil, Evile. They're from the UK. I'm not sure if they're still active, but they made some really fucking awesome thrash. And then also kind of a local band. They are from the city of Yang. And they have a very good song called Blood Culture. They're called Essence. They're really good too. Creator. I don't know if you perceive. Is that thrash? I can't even remember. I think it is. But yeah, there's a lot of styles. But I think the mainstay for me is the melodic death metal. I always come back to that. Like right now, I'm listening to tons of Soilwork. But actually, if you guys are interested in what music I listen to, you can follow me on Last FM. I still use that, and you know. There's you can see what like kind of moods I'm in. But yeah, as I said, it varies a lot with the music. So those are some, and also I like a lot of the old school band, not just the heavy stuff. Iron Maiden, I love Iron Maiden. I've seen them live a few times. I love Ozzy Osbourne, great too. Black Sabbath, all of these older bands, they're great too. I also listen to those. But are there any newer bands? Yeah, and so Insomnium I really like. I recently discovered them. They're great, and they're playing at Wacken, so that'll be fun to see. But sorry for not remembering all the bands I like on the top of my head, because I'm just doing this video kind of spontaneous. So, what is the craziest beer you have ever tasted in all your years of sampling different beers? Wow, that is fucking hard. I don't think I have one beer that I think is the craziest. But there's a few, like at CBC, a beer that tasted like Neapolitan ice cream in bourbon barrels, or rum barrels, sorry. That was great, but I don't think like crazy. If you're thinking crazy, like fucked up, what the hell's going on? It'd probably be some of those Brewdog super high ABV beers like Cinque de Bismarck or Tactical Nuclear Penguin. They're not that great, but they're like crazy as fuck. But it kind of depends on how you define crazy beer. Is it crazy good beer? Is it crazy weird beer? So it's a tough fucking question. Also, like some of the IPAs coming out of like Treehouse and whatnot, that's also fucking crazy ace tasty beer. So the next question is, what is a crazy beer idea you'd like to see happen out there in the craft brew world at the moment? Well, it's already happening pretty much. Like that, one of the things I really love that's happening at the moment that I want to see more of is when people try and imitate other foods or drinks and whatnot and try to taste like that in beer form. It's going on a lot right now, and it's so cool. Like Omnipolus is doing a lot of these desserty type stouts and whatnot that taste like actual desserts. And it's really cool. That's one of the crazy things going on in the beer industry right now I really enjoy. Along with also like the hazy stuff. But a new thing, maybe taking it even further with the idea of just taking like things you wouldn't expect working, for example, like doing meat, like a meaty flavor. I love smoked beers that often taste a bit meaty. So like a meaty type beer. I don't know. It's hard to pick. There's a lot of crazy things that could go on, but it's always fun to follow and see what people find out about doing, because people in the craft beer industry are very creative and they do some really fun stuff. So this is a great question. What's your opinion on bands releasing a beer or other type of alcohol with their name on it? Flat out commercialism or welcome addition to the market? It really depends. If the band is not into the given thing, alcoholic drink, beverage, if they're not into beer, for example, or if they're not into wine or whatever, it often turns out to just be a shitty marketing product. Think, for instance, the AC/DC lager or the Motorhead lager. Those were shit beers, really bad beers. It's just like marketing ploy. I even think like AC/DC. I haven't tried the wines and spirits really. I've only tried beers. But some bands I like when they actually take the time and get together with craft breweries who are passionate about beer, and they themselves seem to be somewhat into it as well and create a cool product. I really enjoy that. A lot of breweries has done that. Let's take, for instance, Iron Maiden, Trooper. And I actually think this kind of dives into the next questions they have, so let's just say that. What bands would you like to see a beer... Any particular beers that stood out as a really good or absolute no-go? So I kind of said the no-goes already, like the AC/DC lager, Bastards lager by... or with Motorhead. I can't remember all of the band beers I've had, but there's quite a few. But some of them are shit, but some of them are also really good, as I said. Some that spring to mind is like Amon Amarth. They did a collab with Three Floyds called Ragnarok. It's amazing smoked Imperial Porter, really good. They also do one with Pig Destroyer at Three Floyds, which is also really, really good. I can't remember the name of the beer. It's like an IPA, I think, a double IPA. It's really freaking good. What else? There's the Iron Maiden Trooper beer. It's good. It's decent. It's nothing crazy, but at least it's not just, you know, a lager. It's kind of like more of a catch-all beer. It's a beer that I think most metalheads who just drink the fizzy yellow stuff would enjoy. I think Mastodon has done some collabs with Mikkeller as well. That's been really good. So, like, those are some quite nice, you know, band beers, and I'd love to see more. Actually, I'd love to see. That dives into the next question as well, because is there any specific metal bands you'd love to see do a beer, you know? So, any specific style? I'd love to see some kind of metal band do like their take on like a juicy IPA. That would be fun, like a New England style IPA. Or just like adjuncted imperial stout. But I think when they do these collabs, it should really not just be the brewery that does, you know, oh, this would be cool. I think there should be an influence from the musicians, from the band, where they actually are like, I really like cherries. Can we put that in the beer? Or just something like that, where they get that influence. I think that's quite important and stuff like that. So that's what I'd like to see, I guess. Like where the bands actually, you know, have a opinion about what should go in there themselves. That's pretty fun. It would be pretty fun. So some bands I'd love to see some beers from. As probably some of these already have beers, but I think In Flames. But I think they already have beers, and that's also on a side note a band I'm very like. I like the old stuff. I'm not a big fan anymore. Ever since like the lineup changes in one of the last two albums, in my mind, maybe even three. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 albums or so have been shit in my mind. Let's just turn into this weird alternative stuff. Not so melodeathy anymore. It's just my opinion, but I'd still love to see an In Flames beer. But Solid Work, I'd love to see a beer with them. Let's do another beer with Amon Amarth. That'd also be great. Immortal, or no, or Abath beer, like a crazy imperial stout. Or I don't know, did Metallica ever do a beer? That could be fun as well. But there's just so many bands. I welcome these band collabs as long as I said the bands are involved and they're into the product they're making. So it just turn out to be, you know, a marketing thing. We're like, oh, you can buy this, and we decided, or we have a beer now, and it's just a lager, whatever. Don't want that. Something where there's, you know, something from the band shows as well. I think even like that's happening in the coffee industry. Mastodon has been doing coffees with Dark Matter Coffee. Yes, so as a beer geek, how would you deal with the standard lager or pilsners at festivals and shows? Like right now, I'm drinking it. I'm not a beer snob. I'm a beer geek. But being a beer snob, you refuse to drink this. But I'm not a snob. I can drink this. It's not horrible. You know, it's just a beer. And if you're at a festival, it's often when you would have this stuff is to get smashed, and it does the job. So, I'll get you ready for the pit. But yeah, I accept it. I drink it. I mean, no problem. Usually when I go to Wacken, I haven't been the last 2 years, but I'm going again this year. And if any of you guys are coming, let me know. That'd be fun to meet up at Wacken. But our camp is Camp Quattro Pussy. Don't ask why the name's that. It's weird. But yeah, I mean, for a festival like that, I actually bring beer because it started out with like International IPA Day being during Wacken, so I'd bring IPAs to drink there. But, you know, actually nowadays, a lot of festivals, they have other options than just lagers. And in Wacken is quite fortunate because since, you know, for the entire time, all the times I've been there, you've had the option of getting like, you know, Weiss beer as well. Even though it's from the big Weiss beer breweries in Germany, it's a nice alternative to lagers because you get kind of bored with lagers, but again, I will drink it. But I think we're seeing a lot of options, and a lot of these band collabs I mentioned before are starting to pop up at festivals as well. The more commercial ones are from bigger breweries, like the Maiden Trooper beer. That's been at Wacken a few times now, I think. Also the AC/DC stuff and whatnot. And Wacken now even has a small craft brewery in the city. And I want to try this year, hopefully, being able to go there and shoot some footage. And that kind of delves into the next questions, which says, you sometimes have on-the-road videos on your YouTube page, including reviews at beer festivals. Do you think you will ever make an on-the-road video reviewing beers on a festival site? I'm personally thinking of a guide on what beers to try best when they're drunk lukewarm at the camping site. I can do that this year. It's not going to be with this camera. I'm not going to bring my DSLR to Wacken. That's a disaster waiting to happen. So it's going to be on the old camera. But I think I want to do something there. So that could be an idea for this year. Trying to do like, what beer should you drink at Wacken? And then maybe trying to show that new microbrewery they got there, which is, I think their beers are inspired by Norse mythology, and I'm a big fan of Norse mythology. I mean, I listen to Amon Amarth and a lot of these kind of Viktur and like Nordic inspired bands. That's just some. There's a ton more I listen to. I just never can't remember them all. What are they called? In My Sword I Trust, they sing. No, that's Tour. The Twilight Tavern and all that stuff. Why? I'm really forgetting band names right now. That sucks. Equilibrium as well, like, that's fun. But, yeah, so we can try and do that. Do, like, a festival tour and see what beers to try. That would be fun. That'd be fun. And just mixing it up instead of all the lagers. And it says, final question. As Belgians, we need to ask, what's your favorite Belgian beers? So I don't think I have a specific favorite Belgian beer. But when I was younger, my favorite Belgian beers used to be the kind of like quads and triples and the Trappist beers. But now it's the lambics. Breweries I really enjoy lambic from in Belgium are like Cantillon and Driefonteinen. Those are probably some of my favorites. But a newcomer on the scene that's really freaking good is Bakkerrider. They're just slaying it. The stuff they had at CBC, MBCC, and whatnot is amazing. That's worth checking out as well. And then Tilkin is great as well. Boone is also pretty good. There's just a lot of great lambic. I'm more into that than the more traditional or the monk beers, like the doubles and triples and quads. But I do like a good triple or quad. I'd say of the Trappist beers, I'd say it's probably triple or quad that are my favorites. Doubles are also really nice too. Actually, I think if I actually should say one of my favorite, if not my favorite Belgian Trappist beer, it would probably be Orval, because it's so different, so sessionable, and I love the bread character on it. So with that, guys, we're going to end this interview with Grimm Gent, this Belgian website, metal website. So I definitely recommend you guys try and check out the website. Link for their website is down below where you can see all the stuff they've done. There's going to be a link to the website and also this Pick Your Poison segment, so you guys can check it out. So I hope you enjoyed this little, I guess, Q&A / interview, which was more metal focused than beer focused. And yeah, let me know what you thought, guys. Let me know some of your favorite metal bands and some of your favorite metal genres. Would be fun to hear. And again, are any of you going to Wacken? Let me know. Hit me up. Would be fun to meet up at one of the best metal festivals in the world. So, as always, guys, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram, and give this interview / Q&A a thumbs up. And I'm going to say cheers in, I never said the name of this, but Pulsbrau Helles from Hamburg, I think, maybe somewhere in southern Germany. Cheers, guys, in the Wacken mug, and see you in another beer-related or metal-related video. Cheers.